Hey guys, this is Hell Hades, free to play. Guys, I'm on the free to play account. I want to show you one team that can go through all of the level 20 dungeons and take it down. This is a really important kind of milestone if you're building an account, that you want to have a team that can be flexible, go through any dungeon. We're going for a free team here, and I will talk to you about basically subs for the champions that I'm going to use, because clearly you don't necessarily have the exact same champions that I'm going to have. But as long as you follow the same rule set, you will be able to do exactly what I'm going to do with a similar style team or a similar group of champions. So let's dive in. I'm on the free to play. And to give you some context here, we are on day 179, 180. So I'm like 6 months into the game. Yeah, this same team could have been built, I'd say, at least 2 months ago. Yeah, there's not really been a lot of change within the last 2 months for me to be able to build this. Maybe a month ago at least. But yeah, basically we can go in and we can take down any of the dungeons, stage 20. So let's talk you through the champions. Let's talk you through the builds and also some subs that could come in. So Artak is in the mix here. He's a free login legendary right now. He is a powerhouse actually in this game. Like, super cool champion. Brilliant free champion. But if you're watching this in the future and Artak's not available as a freebie anymore, then honestly, I think his role could be switched out with someone like a Kale, because he's basically in there to do damage. Kale could come in, do damage, but he'd do his damage through poison, whereas Artak does his damage through burns. I've got him in regen gear. He's in pretty solid gear, I would say. Decent health, 100% crit rate, decent speed, around 200 is nice. And then enough accuracy to land his stuff. And we've picked up, I've got him with Helm Smasher here, mainly because he's also my campaign farmer and I use him to do damage. But if you just want to do damage through his abilities, you would probably take War Master here and concentrate less on crits. The regen set makes him pretty damn tanky and easier to keep alive. And yeah, he comes in pretty solid. And I would say whenever you can, pick up a level 1 Brimstone on him, because it will help you when you get to the boss encounters to get your damage away. So this smite, because he hits quite often with this 200 odd speed, he gets to smite away pretty damn comfortably. Second champion in my team is going to be the Stag. Yeah, Stag Knight. But this is basically a champion who does decrease defense on an AoE hit. So if I think about Artak, he's got decrease attack on an AoE hit. I didn't talk about his books, but he's missing books here. He does have books elsewhere. But decrease attack is important, especially for Ice Golem. For any boss, really, you just take less damage if you drop the attack of the enemy. Stag Knight's main role is to drop defense. So you could be bringing in a Deacon who's available as a kind of like early bird champion nowadays if you use one of the codes. You could be using a whole host of champions, honestly. Anyone who does AoE, decreased defense on a high chance to land. Yeah. The other thing which Stag brings is a decreased speed, which is quite nice for Fire Knight, also good for Ice Golem, good for Spider. Yeah, so actually this is a great skill as a secondary, but it's not a requirement, okay? Masteries here, I've got them with War Master and kind of mainly support-based Masteries. And in terms of his gear, you see it's just like a mishmash of items, really. But the main thing I want is to be pretty damn quick. He's at 247, and he's got enough accuracy to land his stuff. Other than that, just survivability and a little bit of crits. Again, those aren't important. It's mainly make sure he goes before your damage dealers. Okay. We're bringing High Katoon into the squad as well. My High Katoon is fast. Yeah, she's just got my best speed gear that I own. I definitely could, and maybe it's even better, I could use Apothecary for the same job. Okay, but High Katoon is the one we're going to show off today. Got her with War Master as a main mastery. Now, she's got basically 0 accuracy because I've already got decreased speed coming somewhere else. Ideally, you would put some accuracy on her, but honestly, I just wanted the fastest gear that I own, and I've got a really great speed roll on this defense banner. So what I could do is I could switch out some of the other pieces and put her in perception gear. This piece is particularly poor, so you know I could reduce her speed and it pick up her accuracy. But honestly, because I use her in the arena as well as my speed champion, we've just got her with my fastest speed rolls on my account. and I don't have a good chest yet with decent speed rolls. So that's my high Katoon going quick. We've then got somebody who does good turn meter mechanics. Okay, this doesn't have to be Skim Foster consumed. He's my one. If you've got a Cold Heart, great. If you've got an Armiger who's an uncommon, great. Just someone who's going to consistently pump turn meter control. If you've already got your Visix, brilliant. Even Scylla the Drakes that I'm about to get on this account, brilliant. Yeah, there's loads of options, but Skimfoss for me is the one that I've already got built out. He's the one who's going to be doing turn meter control. This is mainly for Spider and for Fire Knight. Okay, so he's got double hitter A1, again, a decreased speed coming in here, and a bit of turn meter control. And he's got this brilliant turn meter control A3. Needs crit to make sure that happens. He's also another champion with AoE decrease attack. So I've almost got like I've got 3 options in this team with decrease attack. I don't need that many, but these are all great champions for doing this job. In terms of masteries, I've actually got him in timely intervention here, mainly because I built him for duoing content with Artak in the past. This is not optimal masteries at all. I'd rather have War Master, but I don't want to pay gems to change them up. So the only one I would call out here is, he does get some turn meter fill going on with the Arcane Celerity, and the Evil Eye is really nice to just drop enemy turn meter when you get your first hit in. One thing I'd call out is this team, I've got double hit A1 on Skimfost, double hit A1 on Stag, but everyone else is a little bit short of hits. So when you come to Fire Knight, it does work. I've tested it all, but Apothecary definitely becomes the better choice for Fire Knight over High Katoon. But I'm going to show you one team that beats them all. Last champion up then is going to be a level 50 Reliquary Tender. She's also in Bolster set. I didn't realize I actually had 2 in Bolster set, but she's basically in there as my support champion. So far we've got damage, speed, decreased defense, turn meter control, support, healer. Yeah, so that's the 5 roles that I'm trying to fill. You can see she's level 50. Her stats are not good. Really, she's in there for a lot of health. I don't want her to be targeted for damage. She's in there for a lot of health and to do things like cleanse my team, give them some heals, and revive if I need it. I don't really have any masteries on her. Yeah, she's literally just, she's not doing a lot apart from being the support to keep my guys topped up. So there's actually a really good option now in Tree Shield Knot, who's part of this current fusion, who does a similar role really. Heal here with increased defense, 2-team revive on the A3, speed in faction crits, whatever, but he is a really good option for the Reliquary Tender role now. Potentially better than the Reliquary Tender. But that's my 5, and I guess let's have a run through the different dungeons here and see them all in action. I'll show you the team setup, which I've done, which I use for every single dungeon, which is here. So basically I'm saying, High Katoon, do your increased speed when you can. Her A3 pushes back turn meter, which is particularly good in Ice Golem, in Fire Knight, and Spider, actually. It's just a really good skill. But I don't have any accuracy, so this won't work. Yeah, it just won't work right now. So it's not an important skill for me. And equally, her A1, because I've got no accuracy, won't land the decreased speed. But I do have it on other champions anyway, so it's not as important for me. But I would suggest accuracy on your High Katoon, even if you can't get really fast. This is very fast. You know, if you're at like 230 odd speed, it's still fine, by the way. This is just a build that I've got. To Stag Knight, just do your drop defense and attack whenever you can. Rounds. You definitely could say open with it and then don't use it again for wave 1, so that you definitely get it at the start of wave 2. That's quite a nice touch. Artak, just make him burn first and then ignite. Reliquary Tender, I just leave to her own devices. And then, because I've already got decreased attack coming in from Stag and from Artak, I'm not going to use the Skimfoss decreased attack wave 1. I'm going to tell him to use it to start with on wave 2, so that we decrease the attack of the wave and prioritize it on the boss. This is particularly good for Ice Golem. So let's get going then. First one here, Ice Golem. Speed lead. As I say, speed, drop defense, drop attack and damage, turn me to controller, and support champion. That's the 5 roles that you want to be looking for to get this done. Affinity does matter a bit here. So for most of these enemies, my affinities are either neutral or fine. For all of the stage 20 stuff, Fire Knight's the only kind of dodgy one, but Fire Knight, basically, we end up getting Artak becomes the main tank, which we'll show you in a bit. And that's not so bad because he's pretty tanky and he heals well. So you can see we get through the waves quite quick. Because we saved our decreased defense, we've got it again for wave 2 right now. Now we need to nail in some damage. The front 2 dudes here are annoying on this wave. I would love to add in somebody that does control. And by control, I mean things like stun or sleep or something like that, just to stop these front 2 going. But I've only got 5 slots, and I'm trying to show you a team that does it all. If I was just building a team for Ice Golem, I would bring in a control champion and probably remove Stimfost, honestly, for someone who's doing stuns and stuff. Or I'd put Stimfost in a stun set. That's not a bad option anyway, by the way, because I've already got a bolster set champion. So Stimfost in a stun set, or whoever's doing a lot of AoE hits in a stun set, would be pretty damn good. Decrease attack, most important skill for this boss. Yeah, so decrease attack means that when you get this big slam in, you take way less damage. Your team will naturally, if you leave it full auto, they'll naturally focus on the side adds. Basically, the boss does way more damage if the side adds are alive. Okay, so side adds, or the boss, sorry, ignores 100% of your defense if both side adds are alive. He ignores 50% of your defense if one of them are alive. And then he just hits for normal if they're both dead. So, you know, you have to be careful on this boss when you bring in champions like enemy max HP hitters, because you can go through like multiple thresholds and end up taking double slams whilst both side adds are alive. And that's pretty much a wipe. You know, you don't want to do that. So although this is going to be one of the slowest runs we see, the slow and steady tactic on this boss is not too bad, because we're still, with the stats you've seen me have, we're still able to be fine. Artak here, because he's got the regen set on and stuff, like Artak or someone like a Kale here comes, you know, phenomenally good, just because they pump damage and they're able to kind of stay alive really without the need of everybody else. But I was thinking about removing Reliquary Tender from this squad. You'll realize like how much healing she's been doing for this team. Even as a level 50 champ, she just does a ton of work. If you're watching your runs go and you get to this sort of stage, you can actually click on the boss and that will focus the boss down. But at this point, boss is dead anyway. That's a 3-minute run, and we move on. One team down. Let's go on to Dragon next. Dragon 20. Again, same squad, same setup in terms of AI. This squad has got 2 people with 4 affinity here. Hikatoon doesn't really matter because she's mainly in there for speed, but you'll see there we don't drop defense on everybody. It means that the waves are not quite as strong. So again, if you've got multiple decreased defense champions in your team, then you might sub out Stag Knight here for someone who's got a better affinity, just so that he's more likely to land the decreased defense on the full enemy wave. You will find that Hikatoon and Stag, because of their affinity, will be targeted by these enemies. And chances are, if my Hikatoon gets targeted, she's just going to go down. Like she's not built to be tanky enough to deal with these kind of big nukes, especially on the next wave. But we get through it quite well. Reliquary Tender for the boss here is super clutch. Her ability to cleanse your whole team when you're on the dragon is super good. Also, Brimstone on your legendary champion is so strong against the dragon. If you're just trying to get the job done. I will say, like, Kale or a Poisoner, super good against dragon as well. I don't have a Poisoner in this team, but again, like if I wanted to build my Stimfost in a different set for this, I'd probably build him in Toxic gear so that he landed a bunch of poisons on the boss. But you can see we're so comfortable with this team getting through the waves. There's literally no risk at all, mainly because we've got a big old shield from our bolster sets and because We've got Reliquary Tender just kind of keeping us nicely topped up. See that? We're just getting weak hits with our champions here, which is annoying. Can't turn me to control the dragon. You can't put decreased speed on the dragon. So all of those skills are basically irrelevant. Brimstone lands. We get a nice old Brimstone proc here. And bam. Nice amount of damage. It's a bit of a speed race with dragon. Like the longer you're in this fight, the more times he's going to do that Scorch. And the Scorch really is what hurts. Should get a nice... oh, actually, I forgot my Skinfrost cleans my team of debuffs and then applies them back at the dragon. I totally forgot about that. It's actually a really crazy mechanic. Love that. But either way, my Reliquary Tender would have cleansed us away there if we didn't do that. Does mean that we just pumped a ton of damage back into the dragon, though. Decrease attacks, equally good on this boss. So, you know, that's a really nice skill to have. And this is going to be a nice, like, 2-minute 30 or so run. We get a Brimstone out there as well. I haven't landed, actually. Going to take a bit of a nasty Scorch, but it's fine because it's only like the, what, second or third one? If we were on to like the fourth one at this point, then it does a ton of damage. Smite's back up. This is game over. So yeah, more like 2 minutes 40 odd, 2:45. Crap piece, away it goes. 2 bosses dead. On to Spider then. I know this will definitely work because I actually run a 3-man squad on Spider and I use food in the final spot. So this will just make it even quicker than I normally would do it. But same setup again. Main thing with Spider here is the burns on Spider 20 is where your damage comes from. If anything, I don't really want Stag doing all this extra damage. Skimfrost putting decreased speed on the boss or decreased speed on this boss is super important. The more turns the Spider has, the more damage the Spider is going to do to you. Okay, so and the way that works is the Spider eats whatever Spiderlings are left, heals by the amount that are left, and also does more damage to you the more spiders it sucks in. So keeping the Spiderlings kind of like, I don't know, just kind of like down to minimal numbers is good. But ideally, you just want to turn me to control the main Spider whilst pumping damage through burns. Every time a Spiderling moves, when it's got an HP burn on it, it hurts the boss. Yeah, and it hurts all of the other Spiderlings as well. That's the cool thing about burns in this fight. Artak's particularly good here because he ignites loads of burns at the same time. And that's a 58-second run. How are you feeling? Pretty damn good is how we're feeling. 3 bosses dead. Let's go on to the last one then. The Fire Knight. I guess maybe we'll show a... I bet this whole team just beats all potion keeps as well, honestly. This is probably the most... When I was going through this team, this is the one that I was most concerned about. And the reason for that is don't have tons of multi-hits. So I'd much rather have, instead of Artak here, I'd much rather have someone like a Rhonda, if you've got Rhonda still. I'd much rather have Kale, he's got multiple hits. Yeah, anyone, I've actually got a Nephro on my account, he's brilliant for this fight. But anyone who's got multiple hits becomes really good here. Cold Heart would be good here as well. Just somebody who's going to do lots of hits on their A1. And ideally, you just want multiple hits, turn me to control. Obviously, Fire Knight's a bit of a weird one. You've got 2 elements. You've got to kill the wave, right? And the waves are pretty nasty. They do a lot of damage. To kill the wave is almost like one requirement. Stag's really good for this because he's doing the decreased defense and attack. And then anyone doing AoE hits is good for this as well. Once the wave's dead, you've then got the boss encounter, which is a different challenge. It's lots of hits to get through the shield and then turn me to control the boss. Changes really onto hard mode, but this is just normal for now. And you can see here, again, there's no risk. I've had 0 risk. Having your speed champion moving actually fast helps a lot because we're constantly getting back to this increased speed and pushing all of my team to do their abilities more and more frequently. So this dude's being a bit of a tanky boy, but that's fine. On to the boss. We're 1 minute 30 onto the boss. And now basically wanting to get as many multi-hits in as we can. Obviously, I've not changed the AI setup for this, but we're through quite quick. Decreased speed is on. That's brilliant. Now it's down to kind of Skimfrost to do his turn me to control for us. Anyone who's got... There it is. Beautiful. Anyone who's got Evil Eye as a mastery will push the turn meter back of the boss. That's a really important mastery to have. for your champions for this. And at this point, I mean, Skimfos honestly is like insanely good for this fight. But Armiger here, Cold Heart here, anyone who's doing really good turn meter control. Scylla the Drakes is good. Visix is extremely good if you've got that far in the game. But Skimfos actually is up there as one of the best. So got to call it out. He's particularly good for this. Because his A1 also does turn meter drop. And because he steals the turn meter on his A3, bam, he's basically getting nearly a whole extra turn. The boss doesn't take turns if you've got this going well. If he is taking turns, Reliquary Tender's in there to cleanse off the decreased speed from you and to keep you alive. So that's fine. Actually, just got a resist there, I think, on his turn meter drop. So boss might actually take a turn. But things like the Brimstone, yeah, here we go. Things like the Brimstone and stuff will only take effect if he takes a turn, and the shield protects him from a lot of that damage. So, it's not such an effective skill here. But we're back in control again. And as I said, like, really, Reliquary Tender, for all of these runs, is in there as your protector, just to make sure that everything stays hunky-dory. Okay, that's what she's in there for. But that's going to be 4 bosses dead, 1 team defeats the lot, and honestly, it's not a crazy team. It's a totally doable team, and all you need to do is concentrate on the roles. What everybody is doing, you'll be having the same level of success. There you go, guys. I've been Hell Hades, free to play. 1 team beats them all. I'll see you later.